Hey y'all, this is Cindy. I'm the Tireless Tangler, and you've arrived at day 15 of the 100 Days of Zentangle Project 2020. Thank you all so much for being with me today. I'm so excited to have so many of you new guys on. And so for you more experienced guys, I appreciate you being along for the ride too. If sometimes I get very elemental about Zentangle practice, it's because so frequently we forget the importance of some of these elemental things. So today's tangle is called Dented Moon. It is by my friend and fellow CZT32 attendee, Lisette Hoffer. She has a talent with these patterns and is always coming up with new ones. And I encourage you to look her up. She is also on Instagram, so you can catch her and find some of her patterns there too, I think. So Lisette Hoffer, CZT32, go girl. She is one of the most peaceful people I have ever met. She's very serene, very serene. It's a lovely quality in a person. Okay, so we are going to do Dented Moon, and it is the very close cousin of our very first tangle that most of us ever learn, which is Crescent Moon. Now, some of us who have learned, I don't think Crescent Moon was my first one, but it's the first one that in the Zentangle Method they teach. And because they use it because it teaches the art of aura-ing, or aura-ing, depending on who you ask. So Crescent Moon is typically done on a line or on a, what's the word I'm looking for? String, which is a pencil line of some kind. And it starts by making these little ladybug shapes, little sort of half circle shapes. Right? And you make them, you set them a slight distance apart. And again, I'm showing you the basic Crescent Moon. There are so many different ways to do Crescent Moon now, it boggles my mind. And then, you go around in a circle or do them straight, however you want to do them. And then the next step is to aura, or aura. And when I say aura, for those of you who are new, what I mean is you're going to draw a parallel line to a line that's already existing there. And so in this instance, I'm going to draw my parallel line to this little ladybug shape I have there, right? And over here, I'm going to repeat that. And that is what we mean in Zentangle when we say an aura is just to follow the shape of something that already exists line-wise. And this is Crescent Moon. You can fill the entire space. The thing that this tangle teaches with the auras is that your line consistency, like I'm always preaching. And that is why I'm always talking about comfortable hand positions. Again, this is a tough tangle for me because of my shaking, and I'm always unhappy with my lines because they're never consistent. But we're going to give this a try. Dented Moon has taken that same tangle and put a quirky little twist on it. Okay, now I'm going to start here with my son's pencil again. I'm going to put a little dot on the four corners here. And again, you do not have to use a Zentangle tile. You can do whatever you want. And for today's demonstration, I'm going to try to behave myself. I might put a little curve in my lines, but I'm going to try to keep them fairly consistent. As I draw my border, remember your borders, I can't help myself, guys. Your borders can be whatever you want them to be. They can look straight. They can be curvy, like mine usually are. They can be curly cued and tidy, whatever you wish them to be. Okay? So within this, I'm going to draw a string, and a string is just a line drawn with a pencil that helps us helps guide us in Zentangle with where to start. It answers that burning question, where do I start? Now I have this far, now what do I do? Okay, so I'm gonna show you. Your string can look like whatever you want, and I'm going to do mine. I'm just gonna come from this line. See, I can't help it with the curves. And I'm going to do this. All right. Now, this tangle is very easy, but it is also going to be a bit time consuming, so bear with me. I will try to find some decent music to put on the background. If I don't, just follow along. So whatever string you have done, find one section, pick a section, and start with a little sort of like a crescent moon shape, but we're going to make it kind of wacky. We're going to make it sort of jaggedy and weird shaped, and we're going to put some wrinkles in it. It's going to be weird looking. It can look like whatever you want to. It can be sort of neatly disorganized, however you want it to look. Okay? Then just black that in. And again, if you do not wish to black in, you do not have to. These are suggestions that I'm making, not hard, fast rules. It's just a best practice kind of a thing. And as you get familiar with these tangles, the desire for you to explore out on your own with something new is going to increase, and I really want to encourage you guys to keep that desire alive. All right, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to make funky little shapes. All along the string line. Now I'm not going to black this line in yet. Because remember, once you have blacked a line, a string line, it takes away your opportunities, possible opportunities, to play from section to section. So when I do something like this, even though I have blacked here, I don't usually do anything here, even though I'm going to aura this. And simply because at some point I will show you guys one of my Crescent Moon tiles where I have Halaba coming out the, well, you kind of have to see it to understand. Alright, I'm going to continue to do these funky, weird little shapes. Again, make them look like whatever you want to. We're going to get something fun out of this. This is my very first time drawing this. So we are going to experience it together. All right. So I'm trying right now to decide whether I want to go all the way around with this, all the way around the string, or if I want to go straight up with all my aura lines on this one. And I think because I've never drawn this before and I don't know how the aura lines are going to turn out, I think I'm going to leave them off the top on this section. I may draw them in on another section and go all the way around it. We'll see. We'll see what happens. As you guys know, I don't ever know until I get there. Okay, I'm going to make that one a little more funky in different spots, which is the joy of blacking, right? I am still waiting for my new iPad. I'm so hopeful that some of our technical difficulties are going to be gone once that arrives. But if I know electronics, it'll probably just be a whole new set of new ones. All right, so to experiment with this, let's aura this and see what happens. Okay, now when you aura, I want you to take your time before you start. Take a deep breath. And let me tell you guys, if you struggle with a pattern, the most important thing you can do for yourself is stop and take a breath. Take a deep breath, okay? All right. Whew, that was good. Drop those shoulders down. Those of you who grip your pens really tightly, take a minute, relax your hand, okay? Your pen should sit loosely in your hand with just enough pressure on the end to guide your strokes. Okay, that looks fine. Let's do the next one. This is a fun idea. I can't wait to see what we end up with. All right, and again, you can make your aura lines as far away from here as you want, but make sure that each all right, Simba says hi, everybody. But make sure that each consecutive line that you draw matches the one before it, okay? Simba, buddy, I need you to be quiet. Mommy needs to finish. Really, seriously, I do. I know you're very excited about people walking by. It's a beautiful spring day. Now, this is why I'm curious about this, the aura situation. So let's keep aura-ing or aura-ing and see how this turns out. Again, you want to try to make your auras consistent. Do your best. You won't always achieve that, but that should be your goal. All I want you to think about is the stroke of your pen, taking deep breaths. I invite you to breathe. Try to keep the curves in it. Okay, you want the curves. Our tendency is going to be to flatten these out as we go, and we want the curvy look. So try your best to keep those curves nice and dominant. All right, here's where it gets wacky. Let's go. Hopefully not too wacky. Okay, now for those of you who don't know Crescent Moon, at this point you have a choice. You can start your next aura on the same line where you left off, like this. See how I came from that spot? Or you can start here. Well, I guess the first one you sort of have to come from there. Well, I'll show you that on the next one. So for this one, I'm going to start here with an eye towards keeping my wavy lines exciting. All right, and where I have stopped having room, I'm going to start my next aura. This one is a tough one. Right there. Okay, now for this one, let me show you the next way that you can do this. Now, if you're going to use this method, you continue to do this by starting each consecutive aura right where you left off on the one before. Okay, in this next case, I'm going to show you another method of doing this. Neither way is right or wrong, they're just different. And so when you get to there, You don't go in all the way. You start your next aura right here. Remembering to keep the curve in the line. Okay, oops, I shouldn't have stopped there, should I? Nobody will know. And that is another way. You can continue this. There's no right or wrong here. Do as you wish. I am going to, if I can, if I can make myself, I'm going to continue to do this method where you go over the tops without landing. Again, with the mind to keeping my curves lively. I kind of like it, but you'll notice the taller we get, the more without curve these lines get, and that's okay. I'm going to do my best to keep them alive, but as the curves stretch out, it's difficult to maintain that. So I've gone from a bunch of little bumps here to like 2 big ones. And where I run into this pencil line, if I remember, I'm not going to, whoops, I'm not going to draw over it. I'm just going to skip behind. Okay, we'll let that one spot go. Okay, and continuing. Do what you can to keep those curves going. And you don't want to over-exaggerate things too much. But you don't want it flat and boring either. Pretty soon you'll just be drawing a curved line. Nobody wants that. There. We're rocking and rolling. Now, this is your art. If you want to keep going to the top here, so I'm probably going to do. You may, if you want to stop partway up, you can do that. Whatever is in your hand and heart and head to do, do it. Don't make apologies for it. Say I decided to go a different way, and that is okay. The different way is always okay. It is celebrated in Zentangle. Karma, Simba says hi. I have been getting lots of really wonderful direct messages on Instagram. I really appreciate those. They have a feature now where I can send you guys videos or recorded messages, and so let me know how that is working out, if I have sent you one today or yesterday as you were watching this. If you want to send me messages or pictures of your art but you're not comfortable showing them to other people, you can feel free to do that. Remember, my handle on Instagram is The Tireless Tangler, as always. Bad out of room here. See, I really was dedicated to having these little bumps over here. So now I have something to do. I'm fairly pleased with my ability to, and I probably shouldn't speak yet, but to maintain my line consistency. Not always, but it's been going pretty well. As you can see, when we shade this, this is going to be a lot of fun. So when I come to this penciled line, I'm just going to skip over it. You can always break your string. If you want to go over your string line, go over your string line. It is okay. A string is meant to be a suggestion, not a rule. Okay? The reason for strings in Zentangle is to remove the decision-making process from art. For me, I know that when I read the Zentangle Method on Zentangle.com, I was stunned to realize how much of what I was doing and why things were working for me was because of the relaxation that I was getting from Zentangle. And so, you know, I cannot tell you how important doing this was. So anyway, my point was, I don't know. The breathing, the appreciation of the fine tools that you have, even if you're using the back of a cereal box, appreciate the texture and the color. Sometimes those are cool, and you can have gray or brown usually. The DiGiorno pizza boxes have a really nice, rich, reddish brown color on the other side. So, okay, so this is my first shot with Dented Crescent Moon. I like it. I think when we shade all of these dips and valleys, we're going to get some cool stuff going on. So now I'm going to pick a different section, either this one or this one, and I'm going to think about this tangle, and I'm going to think, what could I do in these two sections that's a little bit different and would really make this tile become more vibrant and alive. I don't know if you can go that far with it, but that's what I think. So one thing that you can always do to change it up on a Zentangle tile is turn the tile in a different direction and do whatever you're doing next in the opposite direction of what you were doing. Okay? So in that vein, we could draw along here and match what we did and go out this way. We could do them all the way around here. We could do them smaller or larger and have something completely different. I really like how this arcs right here, of course, because it's curved. And so I'm trying to think of what I can do to accentuate this, or how I can use this to make something dynamic. And I'm stopping and talking this through with you because I want you to understand that this is sort of the thing, you know, to do with the tangle. If you're just, sorry, I've got mustard on my finger. Oops. This is the thing with tangling. If, you know, just be guided by what you have, by what your sections look like, and by your creativity and your ideas. So I think what I'm going to do is, not sure. Okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to mirror image these little dented moon shapes over here as well as I can, which means I have to figure out the lumps and everything, which I don't know if I want to think about that far, but let's see. Yeah, that might be too much thinking for me, guys. But I want to use approximately the same space, okay? As far as the length and the width, and putting the dark forms together, if you will. So I'm just going to black this in, or ink it, I should say, since I'm using sepia. So I always have a juicy sepia. And you like a pen to be juicy. It makes the drawing experience so nice. Okay, and so I'm going to come back down here and sort of do another version of this and end about the same place. So the two sides sort of merge into each other. And this is what I mean about drawing lines here. In a minute here, I'm going to have the choice of matching my aura lines. And if I can manage it, we're going to have something that looks complex, but is really fairly easy to draw. And again, if you keep your lines consistent, this kind of thing is possible to do. And if this makes you uncomfortable, the R lines do not have to match. You can do whatever you wish. All right. Now, I think Lisette might have done hers more rounded than this, but it is what it is, Lisette. And love and kisses back, girl. She's so awesome. She really is awesome. I should look her up. I'll put her Instagram handle on here. She is in Switzerland, in der Schweiz. Schöne Grüße zu meine Leute, die alle Deutsch sprechen. Haha. I don't know if that was a very good sentence in German, but y'all should understand what I mean. It has been about 20 years, seit 20 Jahre, dass ich Deutsch gesprochen habe. It's about 20 years since I spoke German regularly. It is so cool to be able to think in another language. And forevermore, the things that I did and experienced when I lived near Frankfurt, or in Frankfurt, as it were, Frankfurt, they were pivotal to shaping who I am today. So, you know, it was tough. It's tough living alone in a foreign country right out of college, but yeah. So now I can do this and aura out and leave it like that, or I can put these around. So I think what I'm going to do is, I think I want to aura this out. So I'm going to repeat on this side what I did on this side. And if I can, I'm going to start my auras where these on the other side left off. Okay? Let me show you what I mean. You can keep it in the frame. Okay? Like this. And so I make this line continue on. Remember to keep your little bumps and curves exciting enough to continue on. Okay, and so we've ended this in the same spot. All right, and we will endeavor to continue to do that. We'll see how it goes. Cool, huh? Now we got a little ink splotch. I should have tucked that in a little bit, but that's okay. And we could leave this without any more auras. You can do whatever you want. Take this pattern on an exploration. It's very simple. And it teaches an important concept from Zentangle, which is aura-ing. Remember that Maria Thomas frequently reminds us to, when in doubt about what to do next, aura it. So, except she says aura. So, by the way, Maria Thomas is the most incredible person I have ever met. She is the co-founder of the Zentangle Method. She is more whimsical, more fun, more upbeat than any 70-year-old person I have ever met. And I am so blessed that I was able to do CZT training before anything awful happens. And we lose her, or she, you know, at some point loses her ability to draw. She is the most incredible person to watch draw. And she's a calligrapher, or was a calligrapher by trade. Self-taught. She is just... She sees the joy and the fun in everything. And she is so much fun to be around. And I always, before I went to CZT seminar, I always wanted to have coffee with her. I always thought, you know, her and Rick's breakfast table must be such a whimsical, fun place. And I bet you it is. And so at seminar once, I found her and said, you know, Maria, I just want you to know how much joy you bring, you know, with everything you do. and how much I wished that, you know, I could just sit at their breakfast table someday and have coffee with them. She said, come on, let's go get a coffee now. And so we had coffee, and she's just so awesome. Can't say enough. And they treat Zentangle like their child, and they should. It is a beautiful gift, not because of the patterns. So many people think that Zentangle is about the patterns. My hand is going nuts right now. Zentangle isn't about the patterns, guys. It's about the relaxation, focusing on each stroke, the mindfulness that you get from this practice. It is an incredible healing experience, and I can say that because it helped to heal me and turn me into a person that has something to look forward to in life, and that is a gift beyond measure for me. So I would never have had the courage to fight for this child as I have without the Zen and the self-esteem and the feeling of doing something importance. It's just, I can't, well, I'm gonna chill out. Okay, I think it's time for me to switch my approach here. Problem is I rarely remember to do that. Okay, not too much further. This is very zenful. We should totally do a morning meditation if I could ever get that far ahead. Let's not bite off more than we can chew, Cindy. I'm already worried about what I'm going to do this weekend while I'm having my knee surgery. I'm going to have to get these videos done and uploaded early, but I'm already a day behind because I can't get them uploaded on the right day because it takes so long that it's the middle of the next night. So I'm doing the best I can, guys. Hang in there with me, and if for some reason you don't see me for a day or two, then I'll be back. And, you know, ignore the 100-day project schedule. We'll just have our own. But I don't want to do that. That's not my goal. My goal is for you guys to have a seamless experience. And I could always get one of my CZT friends who is here on YouTube to do a lesson for you guys. That might be fun for you. But if I can take care of it myself, I will. I like that. It is kind of crazy. I want to call this not Dented Moon, I want to call it Demented Moon, because that's sort of where I'm at today. Worrying about things I cannot change. Guys, try not to do the worry thing. My mama always told me that worry is a wasted emotion. It does not do anything but make us anxious. Instead, well, my mom would say pray about everything. I'm not going to do that thing, that religious thing here, because I just, yeah. But she was a very great believer in prayer. And at the end of the day, I believe in prayer. Whatever you call your God, I believe in prayer. So, we went from all these little bumps now to just a few. And I'm rushing, so I can tell that my line consistency is no longer here. Or I'd have more than 2 bumps. But that does happen. Okay, and let's finish over here out. All right, now we have something interesting to look at. I have a choice now. I can do something else in here, or I can, what do I want to do? Okay, so one thing you can always do when unsure what to do next, and that is go big. And so I think I want to do maybe I'll do one big one. I could do that. And I'm going to make it sort of cloud-like. Like that. And I think to change it up, I'm going to put little parallel lines in here. Because I wanted you guys to know that you do not have to black these if you do not want to. Should have started down here, huh? Don't sweat it if your lines are shaky like mine. I'm learning not to sweat it. I'll tell you this, I am not going to let shaking hands stop me from drawing. So get on my train with me, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a bumpy ride. And now any of these you want to thicken out, you can always draw more lines in. Yeah? Okay? So, it doesn't have to be perfect. So let's do something a little different with our auras then. Let's make them a little bit wider. Trying to make them a little bit wider. And I'm ignoring what's happening on this other section. Yeah. So I'm going to make these a little thicker. Taking care to keep my curves. Cindy. Oh goodness. I need to change my hand position, don't I? It's all right though, it's going to work out. So I'm just going to keep going here. And remember, traditional crescent moon or dented moon has the section with these orbs all the way around. Okay. What I wanted to do today was explore other ways that we could approach these types of tangles. For example, you can do the same types of things with crescent moon, of course. So now I'll show you a nifty thing you can do with these auras, or if you're me, auras. Okay, change these up, remembering to keep my little puffy things going on. And I think we can make these a little narrower. Okay, so we'll do this, make a hint. There we go. All right. I like it. I like it. Now, let's have some fun with shading. Oh, wait, nope. I wanted to show you one thing quickly. So one cool thing you can do if you're going to repeat auras is you can do something in between them to make them more interesting. And I'll make an example here. I'm going to put just these little orbs between 2 sets of auras, and it can be whatever you want. You can do one, you can do them all. You can do this with squares, with stripes, however you want to do it. This is what we call embellishing. It's one of my best things. I love to make things pretty. I think in the world today, the more pretty we have, the better off we'll all be. All right. Now I'm going to respect my string here and let that be faded out. And I'm going to finish up over here. That is a fun and easy way to dress up a set of auras. Very sloppy way, apparently. And if you don't want these to be round, all you have to do is square off the edges. Like that. And of course you can draw them in that way, however you want. And when you do it really small, most people can't tell if it's square or round anyway. I'll clean this up. Being very jerky today. All right. Here we go. So that is something you can do to accentuate a pattern, and you can change this up and do something different in every one. I am tempted to see, since this has worked out so well for me lately, my little dots and dashes for ornaments. This is a very nice, easy way to get a very pretty look, a very finished look, ornamented look. And so I'm a big fan of the dots and dashes. And if you really wanted to blow people's minds, you could just take this off into here. Like what I did. I went across the section. So explore. If you want to try something, try something. See what happens. Can't be wrong, because, guys, what is the rule? No mistakes in Zentangle. There's also the appreciate thing. We should appreciate that we have whatever supplies we do have. We should appreciate this time together. We should appreciate the fact that we are alive and that we have the ability to draw at all. There are lots and lots of things to be appreciative of, even when life is hard and tough. All right, I kind of like how I did that. Sort of went from section to section and just let it trail off. I think I can do that. And then should I do that over here, or should I stick with the shading and let this sort of speak for itself? I think I'm going to do shading and see what happens. I may change my mind further in, but we're going to find out. Now, again, I'm going to use my Prismacolor Verithin in black. It gives not a black blend, but it is a nice way to shade. And again, colored pencils take time to sort of get the hang of, so if you're not comfortable with them, just use your graphite pencil. That is the traditional Zentangle way anyway. I just am trying to find ways of using shading techniques that won't be grayed out so much by my light. And whoever it was, Beth was it, that gave me the suggestion about the light. Thank you. any of the rest of them, any of the rest of you with light suggestions. That is greatly appreciated. So I am just running some pencil right around where the string was. And I'm just going to carefully, lightly blend this out so we don't have big streaks, which I almost always end up with. I'm going to let it be a little bit more prevalent over here and a little bit thinner here. Now, we are going to tackle these bumps. And by the way, I love how that looks. I really love it. So how do we shade with the bumps? Okay, I'm going to show you on this big section here because it'll be a little bit easier to understand. All right. So basically with Crescent Moon and with this, anytime you're shading auras that have these little bumps in them, what you want to do is you want to run your pencil along the bottom edge on one side of a dip. Okay? All the way down to where the aura started. You want to sort of blend that up lightly towards the top and then leave it blank on the other side. Okay, so this is going to start up for the next one. I'm going to shade over here. And this is curving, so we're going to shade right here. All right. Now we're going to continue to pick that same side each time. All right. So even though we can't see this, it's still going to get shaded on this side. All right. All right, so over here, we're going to take this and shade up from here. And remember, I am using a colored pencil, not a graphite pencil, so I will not be able to blend this out. I may be able to lift some of it out with an eraser if I need to, but I cannot blend it. So I'm being very careful. I am having a heavier stroke down at the bottom and lightening my stroke as I come up. It takes practice, so feel free to practice that if you like. But you can use your regular pencil and your tortillon. That will make this a much easier job. Okay. So now on here, since this is the side that gets the shading, I'm going to go ahead and run some up on this side. Even though I've got that there from the other side, I'm just going to pretend like that isn't here. And I am going to draw this shading, hopefully more neatly, up into this side. And go ahead and fill it in fairly darkly. And I'm going to change my stroke over here so that I'm moving up and down. It's starting to look more natural. I'm also going to start moving my pencil in circular motion. Try to stop that streaking from happening. Lightening my stroke the further up I go, so that we have some kind of a gradual blend. And again, I can come back with my blending solution if I want to. And I'll do a demonstration here pretty soon for you guys that are curious about colored pencils and how to blend with them and what your best choices are and all of that stuff. All right, so now I'm fairly happy with the shading up here. I haven't blended it or touched it up or anything, but I'm fairly pleased. Okay, so I'm going to go now down here. And I'm going to start and do the exact same thing as I did on top. I'm going to pick that, well, and I'm going to pick the same side. If you want to switch sides and do something different with your shading, that is absolutely your choice. I am going to really do my job to the best I can to sort of accentuate the shadow on one side, which is going to show these little patterns, these little dips and things off to a really cool light. I'm going to continue to do that each time I run into a dip here. I'm going to run some pencil, just going to say pencil, up one side, and the same side is always a good choice on each one of these. And even if you didn't get a good dip with your pen, you can really accentuate these with some pencil on the sides. And we're going to get something that looks sort of like a wind tunnel here. And I am going to run a little bit on the outside edge. Now, let's finish this. As you can see, we lost so much of that movement that we had to begin with. And that's okay, but you do want to do your best to keep those bumps alive so that you can do more of this cool stuff. All right, now the shading gets complicated because when we turn our tile, it's no longer on the same side, right? Which is right. So now you can do as you will when you turn your tile. If you want to continue to do it on the left, that's okay. If you want to continue to do it like this, then you have to change and do the right side of these, which is what I'm going to do. But again, you guys do as you wish. No right or wrong in Zentangle, so you can't do it wrong. This should be a real blessing in today's world. I know it is for me. Right side, Cindy. And you have to remind yourself which side you're on, because you're on the opposite side from, yeah, you guys follow me. I'm going to be quiet now because I don't make any sense when I get this way. That. I have to touch that up with the eraser, I think. You know, and if your dip doesn't go all the way to the edge, don't sweat it. Just give a little color to those dips along one side of it. And you're going to be all in business. Yeah, I already did it on that one. Good for me. All right, I'm liking it. I am liking it. So now I am going to take my pencil eraser, just clean up a couple of spots. And I don't have my blending solution, so I'm going to sort of leave it there. I really want to do some graphite in here. It just makes me nuts. And that will clean up my blend too. Just pick a side and go on that side. Do not quite halfway up. Using regular pencil, just blend it out with your tortillon. And again, I like my shadowing a little darker, so this makes me fairly happy. I'm pretty excited. I'm going to be taking an online class with Annie Oken Thursday. Very excited about this. You guys should look into her classes. They're awesome. I am self-taught. She is a master. She's a master teacher. See, the graphite's going to get in there a little bit darker. So I probably will do a second run with graphite just to get in the crevices and such. But this is Dented Moon. It is by my dear Lisette Hoffer from my CZT32 class. And this is a great pattern. Thank you, Lisette, so much for your take on Crescent Moon. All right, guys, tomorrow's day 16, and I'm going to see you then. Bye.